Hello, guys, and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. And today we are talking about Another Simple Favor, the sequel to Simple Favor. So this is an Amazon Prime streaming movie. The original was in movie
Oh.
The
theaters.
original
Yeah.
was in theaters because I went to see the original in theaters, and I liked the original a lot. And I remember, I think the original had played a lot of French music, and I remember listening to the soundtrack and being like, "Ooh la la!" But yeah, the original was in theaters. So when they announced this sequel, I was psyched. But then they were like, "And it's going to be an Amazon exclusive," and I was like, "What? Why? Why not release it in theaters like the first one?"
I was confused by that as well. And the first one's pretty popular. Like I know a lot of people
Yeah.
that enjoy it. I remember when it came out, I just didn't have a chance to see it in theaters. And when my friends loved the movie, and I was like, yes, that's the movie with Blake Lively and all those suits. And I was
Yes.
like, yeah, let's go watch. It's gay, right? And then we watched it. I was like, oh, it's not very gay, but it's kind of is. And one of my friends, it's her favorite movie of all time. Like she's seen it like
Oh,
a
wow.
million times. So it's just like Marion, she has seen that movie
Oh, that's
12,000 times. It's like
Amazing.
her comfort movie.
that's fair.
I could see that being a comfort movie because I recently rewatched it. Not even thinking about the sequel coming out, but I recently rewatched it, and I watched it with my mom who'd never seen it, and I was like, I forgot how good this movie is. I love this movie, and my mom was like, "What's happening in this?"
It's a very
Confused.
quick film, and I can understand why it's a comfort movie too. I've only watched it the first time, but I know there's a lot of love for the movie, and I think because of that kind of comfort level. But Amy, have you seen the original movie?
So I have not.
I would say
Oh.
that really
I have
maybe
not seen the original
tarnishes-
movie.
You definitely didn't
You know how
understand the brother fucker jokes.
no,
really didn't. Oh yeah. By the way, this is a total spoiler explicit podcast.
Well, that's a spoiler to the first movie. But
I kept asking my I can't say her name too loud. Amazon Echo. I kept asking her to play A Simple Affair. I don't know why, but she knew what I wanted.
Okay.
So she kept opening up A Simple Favor or Another Simple Favor, but I kept saying Another Simple Affair.
That's so good.
I keep calling it Absolute Simple Favor. I don't know why it's not Another Simple Favor. Because there's
That's spelled like absolute gin.
Absolute. Oh, because there's these DC comics out right now. It's like a whole line of DC comics called Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman. So I think I just have that in my head. I keep wanting to call it Absolute Simple
That's
Favor.
gonna be the third in the series. It'll be Absolute Simple Favor, and Blake Lively's character will be a superhero by then.
Look, you never know with this.
Listen,
franchise.
she can do it. She can do it all at this point. I don't think that there's anything that Blake Lively's character can't do in these movies.
She could go to court. She could wear a dress.
I think I had my first scream laugh of the movie when they show up at when Anna Kendrick shows up at the tarmac and Blake Lively is dressed like a sexy Al Capone for no apparent reason. I was like, and we're back, baby, we're back.
Amy, that it is so interesting that you didn't want, because I can't even understand watching this, how your mind would be watching this movie.
I followed it well enough because all I needed to understand they talk about in the beginning with the book opening, they get just enough of it in there, and at some point I was like, oh, her name's not really Emily, okay, that's fine. And then I was like, oh, there was another character, maybe her sister or something, and I figured that out. And then at one point before I had understood that there were sisters, the crazy mom had been like, and then they buried your sister. I was like, oh, this is going to turn into a twin swap thing. And so it does indeed. So I felt proud of myself for finding all the clues that they put in there for me, because and you know what? I actually followed it well enough, because all you need is the character's attitude to understand the story. I didn't need last year's crime to make this year's crime unable to follow.
I think you probably the only thing I think is missing if you only watch the sequel is probably the relationship between Emily and Stephanie. Because they
still get it.
I think there's a lot more in the first movie than they do here, but I mean, again, yeah, you get the gist. You understand they're like frenemies that might really love each other. That is like kind of the gist. And there's parts of the first movie I did forget because again, I watched it when it came out. So they're like the sisters. I'm like, did that happen in that movie? I don't remember that. And then I forgot the role of the husband, and then I was like, oh yeah, she cheated with him. I do remember that.
I figured
so there's
that
like
out.
things I remembered, but I mean, I mostly just remembered the outfits she wore a lot and like their dynamic a lot. So I don't listen to small details.
I was glad that when I rewatched it, I remember being glad. I was like, oh, I'm glad actually I watched this before the sequel comes out. Cause I had forgotten a lot of like the twin aspect, which is in the first movie, after Blake Lively's character is dead.
Okay. So explain that to me. So because I could theorize, but I wasn't 100% sure.
In the first movie, Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, their kids go to the same school. They become friends. And then Blake Lively disappears. And then she shows up later dead. And so you're like, oh gosh, what happened? And then she starts like popping up mysteriously. And you're like, wait, is she not really dead? And then so Anna Kendrick starts like getting really obsessed with what happened and going down a rabbit hole and also having like an affair with Blake Lively's not ex-husband, I guess husband.
I was gonna say at that point, if the husband, if she dead, he available.
He thinks she's dead. So she has like a little fling with him, and she like kind of moves into the house. So she's kind of obsessed with Blake Lively. She like ends up starting to like learn more about her, and what she uncovers is that her name isn't really Emily. I think it's like Hope, and she had a twin sister named Faith. I want to say Faith. Yeah, and Faith. And Faith was trying to like blackmail her, so so she killed her twin sister, and then she staged it to look like she died so that she could like. I think it involved like getting some sort of amount of money and then like going on the run again. And then Anna Kendrick kind of messes up this whole plan by like uncovering it. And then Blake Lively tries to kill Anna Kendrick and the husband. And she does not succeed, obviously, and she gets arrested and put in prison. Oh. And so this sequel is after all of that happens. So
and they are besties.
And it is funny when she pops up and she's like, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you. Would you be my maid of honor?" Like this girl put her in prison.
But the vibes work though.
That's what I like about this movie is because this movie's not good, right? Like this is not a good movie, but it knows exactly what it is. And I love a movie like that. And it's just like when the twin sister shows up, great, awesome. Sure. There's a mob wedding, great, awesome. I was there for the ride because it's like Pretty Little Liars. You know, it knew exactly what it was.
That's exactly.
Because if there's a movie that's trying too hard, 0 stars, bad movie. But like it knew what it wanted to be in the sequel. I think even more than the original movie. I'm not saying this is better than the original movie, but I think the original movie thought it had a little bit of poshness. This one's like, no, we're streaming now. We're gonna do whatever.
I would say, I think in terms of like being a film, the first one is much better. And I would recommend it to everyone. I think anyone would really enjoy the first one.
Outfits are even better there.
The outfits are chef's kiss. This one was like all camp. Like if you took the camp elements from the first one and you just hit that dial and then put it at 100, that's what this movie is. It's like she's marrying into the mob. She's dressed gay. She's dressed like a giant flower. It turns out she's gay.
She has huge hats.
Her hats are so massive that
at one point I got a kick out of her. She's like literally trying to look for a street sign, so she's gonna lift up her hat to look. She's like, oh yeah, there it is.
The hat was the moment that like I also laughed because I saw it in the promos, so I was ready for the hat. Yeah. But like when you see her going down the street, like it does kind of feel like people are trying to like duck out of the way of the hat.
And maybe they were.
It's an okay movie for just vibes. It was not the movie that I was looking for at this moment.
What I was not looking for.
literally anything else. Literally anything else. It was not a movie. It was just not, and that's just a personal thing. At the time I was watching the movie, this movie was not the movie I was looking for. I don't think I wanted the overwhelming camp. I think I was actually looking
bad movie for you.
Wrong
I was
movie.
looking for a bit of a murder mystery. I wanted someone to die early on. I thought it was going to be a murder mystery. It was not. Or I wanted some really impressive twists that didn't happen. Like, for instance,
it's not that twisty. The first one I think is probably more of what you were looking for. I think the first one has more of a mystery vibe. There are a little bit more twists and turns in the first one. This one is just like, yeah, I mean, once spoiler alert, once the triplet reveal comes into play, you're just like, I don't know why I didn't see that coming. That seems very obvious in hindsight. Of course, that's where they were going.
I feel like with the first movie, again, it's been like 6 or 7 years since I've seen it. I don't even remember she was like this murder mystery person. And then I was like, obviously I watched the movie. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, there was a mystery in the first movie. But again, when I think about that first movie, I just think about their dynamic. I think about their relationship. So it's interesting. You're like, I'm looking for a murder mystery because I don't even know if I was expecting that. I was just like, I want more Stephanie and Emily. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I was just excited for more Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. I think Stephanie and Emily are such funny characters together, and they have such a funny back and forth. And especially in this one, because in the first movie, Anna Kendrick, Stephanie is kind of like an overeager mom that everybody is like a little bit like, oh, you're too much. And then Blake Lively is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, just like fully cursing in front of her child. Like Emily is just like cool as a cucumber, wearing like little 3-piece suits, having a martini at like noon. And so that the dynamic is like Emily trying to get like Stephanie to like loosen up. But in this movie, I think it's fun because if you've watched the first movie where, you know, Stephanie's very buttoned up, in this movie, she is a lot more like combative to Emily because of everything that they've been through. So I think one of the things I liked in this movie is that the banter, I think, is like a little bit better in this movie between her and Emily because they go back and forth a lot.
Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively don't like each other. So
okay, so here's this boils down to the crux of it for me. I did not really start enjoying the movie until the last act. The last act, once she gets rescued, I was like, oh, like when she was getting drugged and stuff, I was like, oh, this is funny. And then she gets rescued and it goes from there. I was like, I'm liking this from here. But the first part of the movie, for me, I have seen, and this is what it comes down to. I would like to go on record saying I am not here to try to start shit. I don't have actual evidence about anything, but based on the interviews I've seen, it is clear how much these two don't like each other. The interviews are painful to watch. The internet says they don't like each other. And because we always know the internet's always right.
They never lie.
But I'm tainted by my frustration with Blake Lively.
Sure,
because I used to deeply admire this woman. And now I'm frustrated because my little hero complex in her is starting to crumble. And I don't like that. And so the whole time I'm watching this animosity between the two of them, I'm like, ooh, you guys are letting your Anna Kendrick show. Or like, oh,
I gotta say,
your Blake is showing.
That's kind of what kind of works for the movie because, like, again, rumor has it, alleged, but if they don't like each other, they kind of play it off, and they're like, "We both want this paycheck. Let's just do it."
Yeah,
you know? Like this is a fun movie franchise, and what's so interesting about this dynamic is, again, we'll talk about like the queer undertones of the movie. Like I remember going into that first movie and be like, they're gay, right? And then you watch it and you're like, they're not. And then this movie, and again, they kiss a lot. Like you're like, they're gay. And this movie, they kind of do that same thing. They do the queer baiting, but most movies, I'm like, I hate that. That's stupid. But like this, I'm like, it just kind of works. It's part of the silliness of the whole entire thing. No one loves anybody. It's like, it's just a stupid movie to have fun with. And this is the type of camp I like. I don't know. I think that's a silly movie. I don't know why.
And I'll say, like, whatever is happening behind the scenes with them, they have amazing chemistry. Like the back and forth in the beginning of the movie, the back and forth of her being like, "Oh, oh, so you're bringing me out to kill me. And then at the end of the movie, when they sort of take that turn and Emily tells Stephanie that she's basically like brought her out there in case anything happened to her, and they kind of like band together, you really feel that like, it's the enemies to lovers trope.
Yeah.
Like basically like I really like the relationship between those two characters, and I do think that both of those actresses really do such a good job and have such good chemistry with each other. Like I would watch a million more of these movies, honestly.
I want to see, I promise this is the last simple favor. Like I just want to see like where does it go?
Well, they set it up with that way.
Yeah.
And here's, I was so hoping at the end that this whole thing started as a plan to help, I think, so the husband, the one she was going to marry is Diego, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Mateo.
Oh, okay.
For those of you who are watching on the
we love
YouTube,
Diego.
A bunch of balloons just flew up on my screen. It doesn't make any sense.
I just checked and it was Dante, but I mean,
Dante. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
You would be
so
excused
Dante,
for thinking his name is whatever. He's more of a plot point than a character.
I wanted the whole thing to be so that everybody thought Dante was dead, so that Dante and Mateo could get together.
That
all of this, whether it was originally planned or not, that the plan came up so that they could get together. That's what I was hoping the end reveal was going to be.
I don't think that this franchise is that kind. That's the one thing I feel like even to Henry Golding's character, he just dies. And he's a pretty important character in that first movie.
He is.
So it's like so interesting.
He died pretty brutally.
Yeah.
That was rough. That was a rough death scene. I think that these movies only really care about Stephanie and Emily. They don't care. Everybody else is
those
kind
kids.
of. They don't care about those kids.
Literally, that kid is shipped off to Stephanie, and they're like, "You take care of them, right?" And she's like, "Yeah,
yeah, sure. I guess I'll just adopt your child. Why not?" She's asking a lot of favors. Emily is.
That's the one she could accept. But yeah, no, it definitely rides or dies on their relationship. And it's so interesting because Amy, when you came in and said, "Oh, I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't love it," it's so interesting because I feel like I'm usually in your position with these type of movies, and I'm just like, I don't know why. I just kind of let it go and was like, yeah, this is fun.
The campiness was too much for me. But again, that was also, what's interesting is I actually watched the last third of the movie on a different day than I watched the first ones. And those of you guys who have been with the podcast for a while, I know I've mentioned it to you too. If I'm going to watch a movie or something that I'm looking forward to watching, a lot of times I'll wait to watch it until I know I'm in the right mood for the movie.
Sure.
For me, the busier I get, the more things that I do, sometimes what's going on in my real life will make it harder for me to be objective for a film, which I think we call humanity. I think that happens with everybody. But sometimes I feel like it's harder than others. It's just some of those days where you're like, I feel like I can't shake something off, or I feel like I'm in the mood to, when people are like, I'm in the mood to cry, I'm in the mood to laugh, I'm in the mood to watch a rage movie. That's why theater is so cathartic for me, because like I get to leave everything else in my real life and go into my character. Like it's just so relaxing for me, weirdly, to just forget about everything else. But sometimes it's hard for you or for me to enjoy a movie if I'm not in the mood to watch something campy. Yeah. I was in the mood I literally could have used a horror film. I would have loved a horror film. Yeah, I would have been straight in the mood for like a horror film, or I was in the mood for like a Gladiator or Kingdom of Heaven, like a Ridley Scott thing. I was not in the mood. For another simple thing. This was not a Ridley Scott epic, I can tell you.
No, it's many things, but it's not that.
And also, you didn't know you were getting into either. Like me and Morgan, we went in and sat down. Yes. Like we already know what this franchise. It was funny because we were trying to watch this movie for a little while, and it was just like every day we're like, oh, we don't have a day, because we wanted to watch it when it came out, and then after we were fulfilling packages for Kickstarters, we literally watched it like 8:30 at night, which everyone was so tired. It's after like a long day at work. And we're like, this is the only time we have to watch Another Simple Favor. We're going to watch it. And we were just like, yeah, let's do this. And it was such a long day, but it was just like one of those movies where I'm like, oh, I just get to let go and just relax a little bit because I don't have to think at all. It's like, oh,
it did.
There's an evil twin. That's fun.
I do remember thinking at one point that it had Emily in Paris vibes.
Yeah, exactly. It's turn your brain
and the
off.
same actress, so
you don't have to think at all about this movie. And that's for me. Like, honestly, when I'm having a hard day, those are the movies I rather watch. Like, and again, I like a good horror movie. I think that's like a good middle ground. But like a gothic gladiator or like an action movie, I'd be like, oh, that's too long. I don't want to like think about that. But like something like this, hot, like it's not 90 minutes, but it's less than 2 hours. And I was like, let's do it.
Maybe that's
Amy,
because
was there an actress in this that was also in Emily in Paris?
Maybe I was wrong, but I thought the mother of the new husband, wasn't she the boss?
I don't think so, because
Emily in Paris?
This takes place in Italy, and that was most of the actresses were French.
Like,
in
it
Paris.
was in Paris.
So
Morgan's like, incorrect.
Nah, it's listen, I could be completely wrong. It's like, oh no, she's just got a lot of accents in the can.
Maybe I saw her for a brief second and I thought it was her, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. You know what's interesting is you know, being prepared for a certain type of movie does affect the mindset you go into it for. I was genuinely expecting, I think now that we're talking about it, a murder mystery. I was expecting like a murder mystery comedy. I knew that there was going to be two of it. I did not expect so much camp and so little mystery.
An example of that, honestly, is The Wedding Banquet. So me and Morgan reviewed this for the last episode. That's a really good example of like, maybe I would have enjoyed the movie an inch more if I didn't think it was a comedy.
Yeah.
Like I went in thinking it was a comedy, and then it's like, oh, actually this is more of a drama. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, we went in thinking that was going to be a straight comedy, and it was more of a dramedy, and we were like, oh, okay. I mean, it was certainly funny in places, but it was more dramatic. I think if you go into this one expecting it to be like a detective story, you're going to be very thrown off by the giant hats, you know?
And it again, like maybe it was just I was looking for more of a through line and more of a plot line. So then the third hat, I do hats. That's all I can say right now. When the third act came about and it was much more clear that there was a through line, that we're following a major, you know, character reveal, and we're keeping an eye on this character and we're following what the whole motive of the story is. That for me was when I really started to enjoy myself a little bit more and start to understand what was going on. So I think that, you know, it was too many vibes at the beginning for me and not enough plot, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I was expecting, thus not what I was prepared for, so I don't think I enjoyed it as much.
Something that's really interesting. I was watching this again with like Phil and his family, and Phil was saying, I really love the first 40 minutes, and that's the movie I wanted, and then I started losing me after that. So it's this movie is like so divisive in that, where it's just like, and maybe that's again the fun part of it all, is just like it's a movie that doesn't make any sense. So you might like the beginning or
which
not
version of this movie did you want? Did you like? Right. I didn't love the some of the triplet stuff. I thought it got really weird. So that was like part where I was like, I could have lived without that.
But it's in the vein though of that first movie, and I think that's what they were trying to do. I didn't want to see it, but that's what they were trying to do.
Her double was too tall and it drove me nuts because I don't know why they couldn't film it properly, because there's multiple scenes where it doesn't matter which character she's playing, the double is taller. And it drove me up a wall. There's one point where I was literally like, you're like 4 inches taller. And like they were clearly angling it. They were not angling it to help. They only made it worse. And I was like, we're supposed to believe this is a twin? Not working for me.
That's also funny because I feel like Blake Lively's pretty tall, so they had to work hard to find a taller
either that blonde. Or they were filming it very poorly.
You want to hear something crazy? I was looking up because I was like, is this a cheap movie to make? Because that was one thing I was like, oh, we're talking about like the weird film stuff. It's
not in the location.
It's only $20 million.
Oh,
there we go.
Which is like, we'll get another Simple Favor film.
Yeah. It's all I've ever
It didn't look expensive.
Yeah, I
like
think
the most expensive part is
area.
just the costumes, which I loved.
The costumes were incredible. I think
Top
that
tier.
it doesn't necessarily look cheap to me because they leaned back so heavily on the natural scenery of Capri. Like I think because they clearly filmed it in Capri, it looks gorgeous. Even though, maybe they didn't have a budget, they were like, pan over the water. It's like how you're watching some of the movies and you're like, oh my God, that's such pretty scenery.
At one point they panned over the water to look at the island, and it was beautiful and it was gorgeous and it was all in the shade, and then they rolled up and it was in the sun. And I was like, the time of day has changed in about 40 seconds on that boat ride.
You just gotta go with it. You just gotta lean back.
It's not a good movie, guys. It's not good. But you might have a fun time watching it.
I got a kick because when they were starting to talk about Tiberius and all of the Roman history of the place, and she's like, yes, and Tiberius had this island. I was like, oh, I know about that. We talked about that on the Legendary Ladies podcast.
Whoa.
Like, remember we talked about that? Or was it
throwback?
No, it was Tiberius. We were talking about his magic sex island that he had. That's
right.
Did you remember that?
Yes.
I don't remember any history, but I believe you.
Funny.
Kat, God, we got to get back to our history.
We got to get back to our history lesson.
Dude, those were so fun. Oh.
It was also fun.
You know what?
What?
Now that I'm in another Shakespeare show, I can, which I will share at the end of the podcast. So stick around.
Hint.
Morgan, I have expanded my English monarchy history.
Ooh.
I am now a pretty good expert on the entire Plantagenets
and
the War of the Roses.
Wow.
The Yorks, the Plantagenets, how it leads to the Tudors.
Ooh.
Like,
I'm a little bit fuzzier on the War of the Roses. I know it happened and I know who was involved. And then besides that, that's about it. So you'll have to give me a download on what's going on.
Now, here's the thing. It took Shakespeare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. 4 or 5 if you're going to count Henry VIII. And several of those had multiple parts to get all the history in. And the history's not even accurate all the way.
Oh,
so can't do it in a podcast, but we could do some basics. What's funny is that, I'm doing Richard III for the summer.
Ooh,
and
he was a nice guy.
So nice, super nice, not murdery at all.
He didn't kill anybody at all.
No bad
no
at all. Morgan, or Kat, I don't know if you can tell. He's actually a pretty bad guy.
I did catch on to that one.
But because it's at the end of Henry V leading into Henry VI leading into Richard III, I made a suggestion for our director. I was like, are we gonna have a War of the Roses for dummies in our in our program? I was like, or because we've got kids in our cast, I was like, we could have a comedy improv pre-show where we're teaching the audience about what happened, but make it campy and over the top. Because when I saw Henry VI,
what if you wore a big hat while you did it?
When I saw Henry VI, they made it 2 parts of the Globe last summer. At one point, the time period was, quote, modern day. So they had projectors and PowerPoints. So one of the main character comes up and he's got a PowerPoint of the War of the Roses behind him. He's like, all right, so here's what's been happening. And he clicks his little clicker and it's stick figures. And so it was just so funny. And so I was like, whoa, we should do something like this for it. So he's leaning towards having the kids do a pre-show where they're trying to give an idea of who these characters are. Because if you don't know who the characters are, it is genuinely very confusing. And you don't feel bad when all of them die.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we should get back to our history stuff. We should start digging into that. So for our amazing listeners, our legendary listeners, email us, thelegendaryladies@gmail.com, and let us know which history you would like us to teach Kat, or Kat can attempt to teach the history. Like, for instance, Kat, what is the War of the Roses about?
I don't even know what it is. I know you just talked about it.
What are they fighting over, Kat? I'm gonna give you.
I'm guessing it's not roses.
Correct. Well,
land?
Correct.
Question mark? Aren't they always fighting over land?
It's pretty close. That's close enough.
But close enough. I'll give you land.
I can make an educated guess.
Follow-up question. In general, which time period do you think this might exist in?
I don't even know when Shakespeare was. I don't. I couldn't even tell you what century. 1700s. No.
Nope. This is before Anne Boleyn.
Much further back.
This is way back.
before America existed.
Before America, I think, was quote unquote discovered.
Pre-America.
1300s.
Are you just like picking random times?
Oh yeah. I don't have a frame of reference.
It's in like 100%
mid 1400s leading into the 1500s.
1400. Yeah. I was close.
Because you gotta give it a little bit for Anne Boleyn and her girl Catherine of Aragon to show up. Anyway, War of the Roses, super fun. Come see Richard III. It's gonna be great.
We should do a Richard III history lesson. We could do that.
Oh
my god! Yeah. You'd be so more.
Cat would love it.
Cat would learn so much about roses.
About the roses,
specifically
about the wars.
Richard. He's got some brothers. There's a lot of Henrys.
So many Henrys.
There's a lot of dukes.
I always joke that there were like 3 names back then. You were like a Richard and a Henry. That's it. Like for the women, you were a Catherine, a Mary, a Jane, and Anne. That's it.
Yep,
that's all.
That's it.
Those were your 4 options.
Yep. And you could be Catherine in about 4 different spellings.
Spelling C-K.
I'm a Margaret.
Margaret, yeah, they had Margaret as well. They had Margarets as well.
I get to play Margaret of Anjou. Which I'm quite excited about. She's actually one of the, spoiler alert, only character.
Imagine spoilers for Shakespeare.
Spoiler for
history. Spoiler alert. In the show, she's actually, I think, one of the few characters that survives, which is pretty impressive. But like Morgan, you would actually genuinely enjoy Richard III because it parallels right at the end of the period of like where the White Queen takes place. If you've ever seen that on Starz.
I have to watch that. Yeah.
Oh, you would love it. Let's do a Patreon on the White Queen. I will watch that pilot 100 times.
I would watch it.
Actually, we should force Kat to watch it. Just
that'd be so unkind.
We tried that for Bridgerton and didn't
we set you up for failure on that one.
We dropped you in 4 seasons into Bridgerton and we were like, why doesn't she like it?
Oh man. Do we have anything else we want to say about A Simple Favor? Nope, that's not what it's called. Another Simple Affair. That's not it.
Know that it's camp, and I maybe do recommend you watching the first movie.
You should for sure watch the first one. I want to say, I went to Italy like 2 years ago, and we went to Capri. And seeing the background again, it was like a little vacation. It was like I got to go on a little vacation again. I got to see all the cliffs. I was like, why didn't they? When we were there, we ate. I pulled this up. We ate this like lemon that was like in a lemon sorbet in a lemon. It was amazing. I was like, why isn't Emily eating a lemon sorbet and a lemon? This is a missed opportunity. But like the scenery was like it was in the movie. Gorgeous. It was so pretty. And so it was so nice. Sometimes I remember years ago when I saw the Wolverine movie where Wolverine goes to Japan.
Not the Wolverine.
Not the Wolverine. It's like Big Bird goes to Japan. It's like Wolverine goes to Japan. And everybody was like, oh man, that movie wasn't very good. And I was like, not for me. For me, it was great. Because I got to go on like a little vacation back to Japan. I got to experience cool stuff with my friend Wolverine. And for me, this movie was like that. I got to go hang out in Capri again with my friends Blake Lively's giant hat and Anna Kendrick.
That's why I like your letterbox because you're never too
I'm never listen.
Like, I just hung out with Wolverine 5 stars.
5 stars. I take the movies as they come. The movies come to me. They say I'm a medium movie, and I'm like 5 stars. You told me what you were. This one on my letterbox, I gave 4 stars because I gave the first one 5 stars, and I don't think it's as good. That was my letterbox rating.
That was your reason.
I'll say I gave this 4 stars because, like I said, I like that I knew what it was. Like I do think it was achievable.
When I saw Kat gave it 4 stars, I was like, we're gonna high five on this, and I think we're gonna have liked the same things about it.
This was a 2.5, 3-star film for me. Vibes were okay.
We need to get you a letterbox. This way we know what your opinions are coming in.
But I don't watch enough new stuff. I would be watching a lot of
They're all old
stuff.
ones too, though.
It doesn't matter if you're watching the letterbox. It's just what you're watching.
You can watch whatever you want, and you could do rewatches too. If you rewatch something, you could rate it again and say you rewatched it. Like, it's crazy. Letterbox is the best place to be. But I will say, Amy, what is so fun, because we haven't done the three of us in a long time for this show. I always have to remember we'll never all agree ever.
Yeah,
there's always Morgan's in the middle. She agrees with somebody. Me and Amy never agree. Even when I thought I wasn't being harsh, I was being so kind. And then Amy's like, well, I didn't like this movie.
I'm like, there wasn't really any plot. The character, like the character had some cool hats. Didn't end up the way I wanted it to.
She wore a shirt made of just strings of pearls. I was like that.
Positive.
I did like that. Her dress with the blood train. I was like, nope, too much.
Beautiful.
Too much for me.
That made me laugh so hard. Oh my! And the way that she like puts it out as she walks down the aisle dramatically. I was like, this movie is giving me everything.
I genuinely think that I could not compartmentalize how frustrated I am with Blake Lively from this. Like, I genuinely, I saw too much Blake in this character because I was like, ooh, is this like who you might really be?
I think that Blake Lively is so good in this part. Like, I thought she was so good in the first one. I think she continues to be so good in this one as well. I was like, this is Blake Lively's part, man. Like, this should be her James Bond, where she just keeps coming back and making more movies where like Emily is like pulling a fun little scam in a big hat. Like, I would watch 100 of these.
She might have to after these court cases. She might have to make some more of these movies.
And this is, again, it's
at least
one
she's
of those
not getting like
things where,
sexually harassed on this one. So
yeah, it's so frustrating because, like, again, I was a huge Blake Lively fan, and so now we're just getting straight into tabloid gossip stuff. So please, if this bothers you, please go away. This, like, for me, I don't like seeing people who I was like, oh my god, I thought you were like bright, shiny, happy person, and then I'm like, oh, there's some drama going on. I don't like that. I liked my little bubble. But
I think the Blake Lively drama, it's hard because I'm just like more of like, oh, I don't like I know that's happening right now, but there's like too much information type thing because every week it's like a new thing, and
everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got an opinion, and also what I tend to always see is that it's always the opinion is always very negative on the woman, no matter what she does.
Oh, yeah.
Or what she says. And so
that also frustrates me.
For me,
that I am getting trapped into that.
Is watching like the backlash. Like, as soon as a man is like, actually, like everybody turning against the woman. So I've been watching Blake Lively since the days of Gossip Girl, when she would also wear the most ridiculous things you've ever seen on a human being, and then kind of stomp out of a room. And so I've seen a lot of movies that she's been in that have been medium, let's say
Green Lantern being one.
Medium at best. Medium at best. But this is not one of them. I feel like this is the part she was meant to play. And I would watch 100 more of these because she's gonna show up in a crazy outfit looking like a sexy Al Capone.
With amazing hair.
Yeah, with amazing hair. She's going to say the most unhinged thing you've ever heard a person say, and then she's going to exit stage right. This is what she was built for. This is what she was made for.
I agree. I think it's a good movie. I do actually hope we get to see more of them. I
like that they set up, and in the end, they kind of set up like if they wanted to do a sequel, if they wanted to continue on the line of Simple Favors, I feel like that they could very easily do that, because now, spoiler alert, Emily is apparently in the mob, which is so funny. I was like,
can't wait to see that third movie.
Honestly, sure. Why not?
You're like,
why not? So yeah, I would watch a third movie where she like comes crashing into Stephanie's house, like, quick, we've got to go. There's a hit out on me.
That's good.
I think it's interesting too that they try to play such a Godfather play on this movie. I was like, this is so weird, but again, why not?
You're coming to me today on the day of my son's wedding. like, what's happening?
They tried.
With me
happening in this movie?
Morgan, I don't know if you know, but your voice was almost spot on for that little mouse in Zootopia. The one who, you know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, you come to me on the day of, I can't even do it. You did it so good.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm from Jersey, so
Yes.
it's one of the first things we learn how to do.
Mob voice.
This is the mob voice and the pizza hands. I always see those on the little pizza boxes. It's like Mamma Mia. Everybody.
I gotta tell you, we don't see those pizza boxes in San Diego.
That's true. Everybody in this is an Italian stereotype, which is also very funny. Like they go to Italy and immediately everyone's in the mob. I was like, sure, all right. I mean, that's a little disrespectful, but okay.
You're like, fine.
That's true.
Fine, why not? Why not? I'll accept it.
I don't think the boyfriend was in the mob, if that helps. I think they met at a club.
The one thing I feel like we didn't talk about.
No, he was in the mob.
No, he was the other mob. He was the
mob.
Romeo and Juliet part of things.
He was the opposing mob family.
Yeah.
The one thing we didn't talk about that really threw me off in this movie was like the bumbling FBI agent who doesn't seem to exist for any reason.
Besides him dying.
And then gets murdered.
Well, and then that was another thing that kind of bothered me when the guy on the phone is like, all right, Interpol has a safe house for you. He's going to get ready because and all these crazy things are happening. And I was like, her dress had pretend blood on it in the last scene. I don't follow this train of reality. Like... it just
no, it's not real. We're not in reality. That's the thing. I feel like you have to have watch a Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars where time and space they don't matter.
Green screen.
They're in DC, and then in the next scene 1 hour later they're in Pennsylvania, and you're like, how? That's not possible. So it's sort of more like a dream reality. But the FBI agent threw me off because you think that she is going to play some part, and in fact when she's on that call and he's like, we're getting a safe house set up for you, she's like, the FBI agent you sent is not very good, not very competent. And I thought that there was going to be a twist with the FBI agent, she's not very competent.
There
she's
wasn't.
Not really an FBI agent or something, but no, she's just a dumb FBI agent. She just gets knifed in the back and there's no more. I was like, why was the FBI agent even in this? What did that play in the story? That's literally nothing. I was like, let's take that. Take that out. That doesn't have anything to do with anything.
And also the character that was the main cop guy, he was in the first movie, but he hated Stephanie. So that was interesting.
Yeah. I feel like they wanted to get him back for just a small role, but he was like, I'm not going to Italy. So he just filmed all of his scenes in an afternoon and was like, thanks for the paycheck.
I don't think he needed to be in this movie.
He didn't at all. Yeah. And there were a couple characters that they added to this one that felt like they just didn't really need to be there, and they kind of served no purpose. But that's okay. Listen, we're in Italy. We're having fun. We're on a Vespa. We're driving around. So I don't care. 5 stars.
With hats.
So now it's fine. You go back to your letterbox.
I have to go back and be like, you know what? I was not generous enough.
5.5 stars.
5.5. I'm giving it extra stars. I'm giving it extra stars for every increasingly large hat that Blake Lively wears.
That's funny. I did almost consider starting this podcast in the biggest hat I owned.
I briefly thought about seeing if I could find a large floppy hat to just be on here.
The screens pop up and it's just us in hats. And you can't see our faces.
In big hats.
Kat, do you own a wide brim hat, or do you only you just have baseball caps?
I don't have any hats.
Really? Oh,
I'm not a hat girl.
I feel like you would be a baseball hat girl.
No.
Huh. I have lots of hats.
I have a couple of
beanie
hats.
I got some beanies. I think that's the only hats I have.
I have one of those big beach hats, the floppy beach hats. But the twist is that it's impossible to pack. So every time I go anywhere that's not the Jersey Shore, I just have to do it without my big floppy beach hat, which is a tragedy of my life.
Stylish Blake Lively hats.
Oh yeah, look at that! Look, the brim's so wide.
Okay.
Now it just needs to be about a foot bigger, and then. If you're walking around and you're hitting people with it.
No, this is not that big, but I have a bunch of hats. These are from Gigi Pip. There was a
I
period
feel
of time
you could
where
also be part of a quartet, probably.
Oh yeah, you could start a barbershop.
It's very
quartet
fashionable. It looks this one's great. I love this one. They're really high quality. It's part of the reason I have a little bit of credit card debt.
I
went on a bit of a hat splurge, and I have
called to you. It's like, but wait, I'm so beautiful.
8.
Oh, that's a lot of hats.
Not from the same company, but I do have 8 wide brim hats.
Oh wow!
We really should have used it for this podcast.
I just have that one. I just have that one floppy hat.
Well, this isn't floppy. This is hard.
I should be investing in more hats.
It's really nice. I gotta tell you, hats are fun. Hats are really nice. And then I got bangs, and I gotta tell you, bangs and hats don't work.
Really?
Yeah, because you don't I can't style it, but I'm growing my bangs out because it's the whole thing. I'm done with my bangs phase.
You're moving past the bangs.
Yeah,
I was gonna say so sad, but bye bangs.
Well, because now that I'm a curly girly, apparently, like I got a haircut, and now I've got curls, the bang curls. I don't like the look of me in curly bangs. For some people, it works. For me, it makes my face look super small and real scraggly.
This is why I don't think I can pull off bangs, because my hair is too curly, and I think they would just all like curl up in a weird way, and then I'd have baby bangs, and I couldn't. I can't. I just simply can't.
And I can straighten them, but I guess it looks too 90s, which is fine. No. But it's just
the 90s are kind of
right vibe. Yeah, that is true. You tell me, TikTok.
You should make a TikTok and accent.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Do you feel like, is this too much, guys?
You're gonna get really nice comments, I'm sure.
just try on like your series of hats.
Which hat is better and does
all 8? Oh no, I have been brought my big floppy hat.
Good man. Oh yeah, I feel like I've seen you wear that hat before.
I think so too. Probably on
I try to bring it on vacation. It's got a big floppy hat. So if it was just like a little bit larger, I think that it would be perfect for planning and committing crimes.
So just because it's the angle with your headphones on top of your head,
it looks great.
It's a little. It's a little House of the Prairie.
No, after this podcast, I'm going to go churn butter outside, and so that's sort of the vibe I wanted to get. There's no way to put it on with my headphones that looks good.
Yeah,
and I do think that the bow is not helping, but but this is the big floppy hat I was talking about.
This is why I don't wear hats.
This is the high fashion. No, this is supposed to happen. Don't even pay attention.
Pay attention. Oh God.
Our hats. Could you imagine if we had just started the podcast like that? Giant hats on.
Just hats.
I will say, I think people who saw the movie would probably like it.
They'd be like, you know what? Thank you for that.
They'd be like, your hats are not big enough.
Hat representation.
Hat representation. We're representing hats of all shapes and sizes. Big,
the Haberdashery International.
Haberdashery International is good.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about the film?
No, I think we'll wrap up.
I think it was good times. Lots of hats.
Yeah. And let's go around the table and see what's going on with everybody. So Morgan, do you want to plug anything?
Sure. You can find me as a co-host on Supergirl Radio, where we are just finishing up All-Star Superman next week. And then we are going to dive into the first issue of the new Supergirl comic, which is super exciting. No pun intended. So
I just read that today.
I haven't read it yet. I wanted to get like the physical, and I did not want to brave the rain today, but I'm planning to get it this week, and I'm very excited. So we're going to be diving into that next. So you should come and join us.
Cool. For me, I have a Kickstarter. It's one of our smaller ones, but it's a variant cover, a lenticular cover for the Holding Space meme of Witches of Oz, of Wicked in our book for Witches of Oz. If you want to see Glinda. Right. So what's fun is that Cynthia Erivo is going to Washington, D.C. Pride. So we're like, we want to do an exclusive cover for that. So we'll do like a Pride cover. And if you want to see Glinda and the Wicked Witch together, it's a fun book. Catch up with the series, but also get the Holding Space lenticular cover. So it's fun. That's about it for me. How about you, Amy?
I am in 2 Shakespeare shows coming up this summer. I will be playing Queen Margaret and Richard III in Temecula with Shakespeare on the Vines in the middle 2 weekends of July. I am also going to be in the Scottish play Macbeth in September, and I will be playing Lady Macbeth. So those of you who've been around the podcast for a while know this is the second time I'll be playing this role, which I am. It's going to be a very different experience, very different vision. we don't even start rehearsing it for another month or two. So I'm very excited to see this. It's going to be really, really bizarre to be saying the same lines, but then I have to completely switch my persona, my physicality, the way I deliver the lines. So I'm really, really curious how this is going to go. I do like that I don't have to memorize those lines again, because honestly, like, it's not like another play. If I were to do a different play, I would have to refresh my memory. With Shakespeare, because Lady M has so many good chunky monologues, it's like learning a song. Once you have it, it's just so easy. You get the first line and you just keep rolling with it. So most of her stuff I still already have memorized. There's maybe one or two scenes that I'll have to refresh, but for the most part, it's still in there, which I'm quite excited about, because Margaret has some chonkers that I got to learn. So she's got a monologue at the end of Act 2, which is hefty, and I'm very excited about it. I love hefty monologues. That's my bread and butter.
I'm gonna.
But anyway, yeah. If you guys are interested, Shakespeare in the Vines. It is in Temecula, California. It's going to be 2 really spectacular productions. Richard's going to be really good, and it's our 20th season as well. So it's pretty cool way to celebrate. So come and see if you're local-ish.
Cool. Yay. Is it going to be anytime during San Diego this time around, or no?
It will be. It closes the Saturday before.
But
it's the same problem. That was what happened last year. It's just too soon to be reasonable.
I mean, which is good for you because you get to do San Diego, but then also like not good for us who wants to go see.
Well, yeah, but even if you did, San Diego proper, like the gas lamp to Temecula would be a nearly 1.5 to 2 hour commute. Like that's not worth it.
Balloons.
Got balloons again. I don't know. What am I doing? I'm like just going like this. Maybe it's because I'm celebrationing.
You're celebrating the play. One of these days we will see your play, or one of these days maybe they'll be recorded so we can see.
I have, yeah.
That's true. That is true. Morgan has seen it. I need to see your play one day. So
we went on a long car ride to go see Amy's play. It was very fun.
I was so grateful.
It was so fun.
That was still one of the best plays I've been a part of. That was such a great production.
That's awesome.
That was camp.
That was very campy. Yes, I liked it a lot, obviously.
We made horses out of people and a carriage out of people. It was excellent. And rolly chairs. Oh, it was so good. Yeah. Kat, you would have enjoyed it.
I feel like I would have. I feel like that might be up more my alley than Shakespeare. I would support
Correct.
you.
My mom, God bless, she was like, so I don't think I'm going to make it out for your Shakespeare shows. And I go, that's okay, Mom. I know. That's okay.
I know the little kids are still trying to explain all the other plays.
Little kids are bringing out the diagrams and explaining who's
the PowerPoint with a laser pointer and the stick figures. Like, so this one died, and then he took over, but then she killed him. It's very, very dramatic.
But yeah, that's the stuff going on for us. So also we're having a busy summer. So the next show for us is going to be Miley Cyrus's album, probably in 2 weeks. So I think we're going to try doing a 2-week schedule for a few weeks. That way we could catch our breath. And we'll have some cool topics though as we go along. So I'm excited for some Miley Cyrus, and we'll get the day for you, especially the Patreon people. We'll get the day for you. That way you guys can watch it live and get that all going. So hopefully you guys enjoyed and stay legendary. I was waiting.